Good morning. Welcome to morning stretch. Today we're going to do a seated practice together, and I have a chair and a wall just in case I might need, and you might want to grab an essential oil or something that smells nice, a lemon, a flower. And just take a moment to activate your senses. Your sense of smell, that is. And by the way, I am Heather. And I am pleased and honored to be here to stretch with you this morning. So take a nice inhale, and if you have a smelly good, go ahead and smell it. And if you don't, just notice what the air smells like. Activate your sense of smell with nice deep breaths. And then we'll lift the arms up and bring them down the center. To start the practice, I'm seated on a non-skid surface, a yoga mat or non-skid. And when I sit on my booty, I want to take the butt cheeks and just pull them behind myself gently here. So you could just take your butt cheek and say hello, and then just pull it behind you. When you're sitting up, skirt up, butt cheeks up. When you're laying down, skirt down, butt cheeks down. So that's a nice little way to collaborate with your posture. So as we're seated, I've just pulled the legs into a crisscross applesauce sort of deal, and they can be crossed or not crossed. And if that doesn't feel nice to you, find something that does feel nice to you. This could be okay. So from wherever you are, let's take a moment, relax the belly. Something I notice a lot is that I tend to hold my belly tight when it's in conjunction with a thought, and we can hold thoughts and emotions in our belly. So it's nice to just mindfully check in with your belly. Maybe you want to rub it. Take your right hand and go up and over to the left so that you're doing it counterclockwise, so that you're not constipating yourself. Say hello, belly. The belly is the true brain of the body, if we think about that for a moment. So I'm just relaxing my belly. I've got the hands on the knees. Everything is really soft for this moment, except I am sitting up tall. So I don't want to be in slump mode right now. I'm sitting up nice and tall, and just notice your posture. Does your chin need to just come in just a little? Do you have a default that's sort of like that, which is a little bit curved and reached, right? So just come into a nice upright posture. Notice what that feels like. And as we move the arms and everything today, notice if your rib cage goes wow, 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 because that just is saying to you, yo, 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 not so flexible there. So really notice if that message comes through, and try to get back into a safe space and continue the movement. So let's begin by deep breaths, and let's do extended exhale today. So this breath is a 1-to-2 ratio, and the idea behind it. And so listen up now, because this is a good one for your toolbox. This one is if you're feeling competitive, if you're feeling just really aggressive, or I don't want to say it's when you're not feeling safe, because when you're not safe, this isn't the one. But when you are safe and you're feeling like you're not, when you are just trying to communicate with your body that it's okay. What this breath does is communicate to the vagus nerve, which is basically your control center that speaks with your brain and lets it know what's really going on. So 1 to 2 ratio means, for instance, inhale for 3, exhale for 6. Let's try that first, and then a couple times, and then maybe you'll want to go 4 and 8. And I want to make note of the fact that when we do a breath, we talk about inhale and exhale, the 2 parts of the breath. There are 4 parts to the breath. There is the moment before you inhale and the moment before you exhale, right? Those moments in between, let's just make a fun intention today of noticing those moments. A lot can happen in those moments. A lot of good work, deep work can happen with mindfulness of those moments. And so we'll just take one pause in those moments with this exercise. Let's rock and roll. We're going in for 3 and out for 6. Ready, set, inhale. Hold for a moment and exhale. Hold for a moment. Inhale. See if you want to go to 4. If you don't, it's okay. Hold for a moment and exhale. Now you do you. Whatever feels right to you for a couple of rounds. And let the air out. I like to say surrender the air as opposed to pushing it out. Just let it go. Just open the valve and just be with exhale. Again. And out. This is a beautiful playlist on Spotify called Soft and Gentle Yoga. So we're going to take the shoulders now and inhale them up. Bring them up high. It might feel strange, but really push them up. Push them up towards your ears because compression creates space and everybody's got a little something in the neck. And drop them like hot potatoes on your exhale. 2 more times. Inhale up. Again, working with that breath, noticing the pause, place, and drop. And take it slow. Let the exhale happen and the pause, and then breathe in again. Pause and I just got a little adjustment in my neck, and I always like to say those are no extra charge. Hardy har har. So rotate the shoulders. Cultivating a mindfulness through this entire practice. We're in morning stretch. We're in gentle stretch. We're not being intense right now. This is not the work hard class. This is the remember who you are and remember to slow down class. Now I've rotated the direction here in my circles. So if you want to join me in that, maybe you want to do one at a time. And notice when you are doing this, are you intense anywhere? Look, I notice sometimes I start getting intense in my face as if it's going to help. Or I start gripping my knees with my hands. Don't need to do that. Let's just... I want to always be mindful of my body because I like to challenge myself with noticing when I'm engaging somewhere that I don't need to, thereby creating tension that, guess what, I don't want. All right. Flippity flop, change the direction of, or change the way that your legs are crossed. Just open and close the other way. Let's rotate the hands. And you can do this as you lift the arms up, just for a nice little hallelujah. And back down again. Change your direction, come up, come down the front, why not? Right? Now I'm just gonna take the hands and I'm just gonna grab, 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 grab. Kind of stretching the shoulders, the arms, the fingers. And I'm also acknowledging my energy field. The space around you has to do with you. All right, so now let's go ahead and hold the arms out to the side. Just go ahead and flop your hands for a moment here. Flop, 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 releasing tension in the wrist. Flop, floppity, flop, flop. Right, and then straight hands. Now we are gonna just do a wee bit of work here just to fire ourselves up because it is morning. So doing small tiny circles now. I'm firing up my shoulders and arms. I'm firing up my heart. So let's do a little mantra here that I approach my life with love and strength. How about that one? And the other way, I approach myself with love and strength. And let's add compassion. Woo! Let's do a little waterfall arms. Inhale. Compassion. Rain it down on yourself. Compassion for yourself. Compassion for yourself makes you have compassion for other people. All right. So this is feeling nice. I want to invite a lion's breath, and I want to come closer to you. So I'm going to come closer to you, and I'm going to invite you to be comfortable. Say this is how you want to sit, like this. Or maybe you want to get on your hands and knees because it feels interesting. We are going to do the lion's breath, and sometimes it's really cool to pretend like you're a lion when you're doing it, especially, anytime, because I love activating my inner child. But if you have kids or you're trying to get them to hang out and do some yoga, it's always fun to enact the poses. You're a cobra, you're a lion. So when you're a lion, what you're gonna do is you can sit back on your feet. And again, you can also just be sitting on your booty. We're gonna inhale, and when we exhale, we're gonna drop the tongue down as far as it will go to the point where you're not comfortable. Just a little bit of discomfort. The reason being is that we really want to stretch in the root of the tongue, which is the tip of your spine. So it's kind of like a little nod. You could think of it as try to communicate with your tailbone. If you think about the tongue and the tailbone and all of this being connected here, think about that, okay? So we're gonna exhale the tongue down really, really far and saying hi to the tailbone if possible. And then we're gonna look at the tip of the nose and breathe out with the mouth obviously open. So here we go, inhale. And be a lion. Drop that tongue. Now remember the in-between, the pause. Inhale. Remember the pause. Drop that tongue and look at that nose and let that air out. And pause. Woo! Uno mas. One more. Here we go. Find that full breath. Find that pause. And drop that tongue. Let all that air out. Woo! Now I like to do a little horse breath after that. Silly Willy. All right, so I'm gonna get the legs out from underneath me and shake it out, shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Thinking for a moment. So let's do a little bit of rolling on the spine here for a moment. So you go ahead and sit up tall and check in again with that posture. Check in with your skirt. We're just gonna keep everything tucked in. I like to say keep the drawers closed and keep the chin slightly tucked because you want to really protect your neck here. And you're just gonna roll back and up. Inhale, you can tap your feet and then just let it be a massage for your spine. If this does not feel good, I encourage you to find something that does. Maybe stop and do some windshield wiper, dropping the knees. You don't have to do obviously you know this, but everything that is coming up in this class anyway is an invitation that you could accept or reject, right? And if your body doesn't want to do it, you might just use the opportunity. Now I've moved my hands here. It's a different experience. If you want to try it, you could use the opportunity, if your body rejects one of the invitations in a class or in life, to ask your body, what would you like? Right? And check in with that. Ask. That's a great practice, because sometimes we just kind of go into this autopilot. I'm coming to the front to show you this now. I'm just dropping my knees. This really gives you a nice booty massage, which feels nice, because really, if you think about it, the booty, right in the middle of the cheek here, you have 6 muscles that all come together right into the middle, and then you've got this intensity across the top, the outline of the cheek, right, that connection into the lower back. So what's going on there? So in this one, you could play around with your spine. You could keep it tall, right, and then you address the really lower booty, and then you could drop in a little bit, drop back a little bit, bend your elbows, let your chest drop just a little bit, and you could get a little massage on the upper booty there, right? So that's kind of nice. Okay, we're back here, and I want to invite the legs to be open. Now it's fine if you're right here in front and you're a little bit a smaller V, wherever you are comfortable. This is where I invite you to go with this. And if you're in a space where there are pillows available, you might like to just put a couch cushion is actually really nice right here in the middle. Or obviously a yoga bolster, but not everybody keeps those on hand. But just something firm that you could also put here if you would like to make this more restorative. When we say restorative yoga, we're really just talking about just really restoring the nervous system back to its homeostasis, right to the place where we're cozy in our own bodies. And so we're not full restorative here. We're doing a little, it's more of a hatha class. Just to get all your types of yoga straight. So I'm here in this beautiful pose, and I'm just gonna reach forward with my torso, and again, skirt up, so just make sure that butt cheeks are lifted. And this might feel really nice for you. You might feel like you've lit a fire in your body here, and that's great. And if you're kind of like, meh, you could move forward a little. And so what I like to do is place my hands and let my hands just sort of be the feet of my torso, walking forward very gently. And right now I'm just chill with my legs. I'm just finding a little stretch here that feels good. And then what I'm going to do is lift my toes up so I can activate. And then once my arms are straight out in front of me, what I like to play with is, again, this might be enough for you, so always take the invitation and decide if you are going to accept it. And then I like to just drop my elbows here slowly with my exhale. That feels interesting. I can kind of gauge where I want to go with it. And then I also like to take the top of my head, to have my intention be that the top of my head is going out like a unicorn horn, so it's kind of going up and out. So you just see how far you go, and if you want to be intense, if you're like, I'm feeling it, then you could do the advanced performer version of this pose in Hatha Yoga, is to hold the big toe. So you would actually put your fingers between your toes. Make that happen with my socks, right? This is a little bit more of a strength-based stretch, because it involves, if you're not resting on the earth, it involves a little bit of strength. So again, you decide if you're interested in that today. I remember in high school I used to sit and read magazines like this. Wanted to get my splits, so I was really working on that. Might be fun to work on that again. So we're here, and we're just gonna walk back up. I'm gonna reach over to my left or your right if you want to mirror the video, the Zoom temple. And then I'm just gonna reach up and over, let the air Let the armpit, the air pit, let the armpit be towards the sky. I want to be mindful of the neck here. I don't want to just be like, just letting it hang. Be mindful here. It doesn't mean that you can't move your neck and also have that experience, but I notice a lot of times when I'm focused on a stretch, my head just kind of, and that's not feeling nice. It's not feeling extra safe for the neck. So I'm here and I'm reaching and I'm really feeling it there in that opposite side body and that connection into the waist and the hips. And so I even want to rotate up a bit here and drop this arm behind and do a little circle here. What? Or two. I always love horse breath if I'm just like tension, and then I'm just going to go ahead and change that direction as if you're swimming. And I'm going to turn and face that leg and just see what happens. You can round your back, you can release into it in whatever way feels good to you. Try to see that your face is relaxed. Unless you're smiling at me because you can't help it. In that case, I approve. So I'm going to walk myself up with my hands and roll myself up with my spine and let the chin come up last. And then I'll come over to the other side and reach up and over, doing the same exact thing. So a little bit of leg, a little bit of side body, neck mindfulness. Really slow pace today. It felt really intuitive that was what we needed today. That's what I wanted to put out in the world today, that it's okay to slow down. I'm really checked in with my turtle medicine. Turtle animal. Slow and steady. Right? So you might want to just open to the sky a little bit and circle that arm. If this is feeling awkward, you can be here doing it too, just upright. You don't have to be leaning. And then do your swimming stroke. And swim over to that foot and say, hello, I miss you, I love you. You are my favorite foot because you are my only foot on this leg. Just give a nice stretch here. So remember, we're focusing on the breath. We're focusing on allowing it to be nice and full, because really breath is everything, isn't it? And if you notice, you'll notice, right? Like when you're stressed, when you're afraid, goodness, I hate to think that any of us are ever afraid, but the reality is sometimes we are. We breathe light. We breathe from high. It's not as fulfilling for our bodies. So really practicing your breath. Now walking back up, rounded. Now let's take another one in the center just before we leave this. If it feels good to you. Stretching your inner thighs. Breath really is everything. So we're just noticing the breath, full breath. We're noticing the in-betweens, right? The 4-part breath. Inhale, the pause, the exhale, the pause. See if you can push yourself a little farther on this one. Woo! And breathe into your back body. And then let it out. Walk yourself up. Take those hands under the knees and move your legs with kindness and compassion. And bring your feet into your vision here in the front, the back of your bottom of your feet together. Baddha Konasana. Right, so we're here in this pose, and this is a really beautiful pose for hip opening. And then there's also Supta Baddha Konasana, which is when we take this pose and lean back in it and make it more restorative. So just leaning forward. If you you want. If you don't want to lean forward, you could just take hold of your feet. If you don't like that, you could also just mirror your legs with your arms. Just take a few nice breaths in here and just really be in here. You might even like to massage your feet. I love doing that here in this pose. Okay, then take your legs, lift them up, pull those feet next to the body. Now I want to introduce this little hug. This little sweet hug is actually a free laxative, right? Think about the poop stool and how lifting up really helps. So this is something that you can do if you are constipated, and also it's just a nice nod. It's a nice nod to your intestines, and remembering that the body likes compression and space, stretching. Well, compression creates space. The body likes compression and it likes stretching. So this is a cool compression. Kiss your knees because they're so importante. And it's a nice compression for this area. All right, with that said, let's get on our knees. So I'm on my knees and the feet are directly behind me, and I want to go ahead and look through the legs and just make sure that the feet are not visible. Like, make sure they're straight back, yeah? You're really nice and safe. And then I'm just going to ask you to stand on your knees. A little camel pose here, and this is a beautiful stretch. So the thing that you want to do here, if it doesn't feel nice on your knees, you can always fold your mat, give yourself a little extra padding. So you're just going to keep your hips on directly in a line from your knees. So the thing you want to make sure of is that it doesn't go boop like that. So from there, take a nice breath here. One arm in the front, lift it up. And then reach behind, see where you want to go. Do you want to go down to your foot, or is that like, whoa? And do you want to just go to your back? Just find what feels good here. Other arm up. You might want to start on your back. And then we're lifting up and stretching back as opposed to pushing the hips forward and doing any compression there. So we're just trying to stay nice and tall, but it's a beautiful opening for front body. And if you want to pull your head back, just do it with care. A lot of people don't like to push the head back and compress, fear of compressing the back of the neck, and I think if you just let your head drop, that is definitely not the thing to do. There's a bit of mindfulness going on here, but it's nice to stretch the front of the neck. So I'm holding on to my feet now. I've gone all the way down. If that doesn't feel okay to you or available to you, stay here. If you don't want to put your head back, that's okay. You can keep your head like this. Even in this stretch, you can keep your head, your chin down. Right? We're just trying to stretch the shoulders and stretch the front body. And when I come back up, very important here, take a nice inhale with your exhale. Engage your belly and let your belly pull your body up. Woo! Okay, so we're going to drop back and you're going to curl the toes under, sit back on your heels. Nice stretch for the feet here. If that stretch didn't feel good to you and you don't like that instability, maybe your core doesn't feel good coming up, you can always try like one of these things and just laying back over it for that beautiful stretch. This is a way more intense version of how you could do that to get a wheel. But you could also just lay across the edge of the couch, or if you have a massage table, or just put a big cushion underneath your chest and lay on it. So some other options of how to achieve that stretch. So back of the foot, love this stretch. Front of the foot now, 3 different ways that you can do it. So intermediate way, your knees, if you have cranky knees, they won't like this one. because it's just leaning back on your and letting your top of your feet stretch like that. So if that doesn't sound good to you, you can definitely do a more beginner friendly version, which is just doing one foot at a time like that. Of course you can do this standing, and it's a very good daily stretch, because if you think about this position that we're always in with our feet, this part of the foot loves to do that, right? So the wild and crazy way that I have been doing this just lately is just lifting from here. So that's, again, find whichever one you like the best. Try all three if you like. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and be in tabletop. So tabletop is just that. It's very, I can't think of what the word is. It's very square. Right? So your hands are right underneath your shoulders. Your knees are right underneath your hips. Your feet are going directly back. Remember, we're doing very basic stuff in here, and maybe you're a very experienced yogi and you check out when all of the directions come in. I know that's something that I do. But it is really nice to remember the simple little things, because you can let one of those things can go off kilter, and then you can tweak. So, okay, no more lecturing. I'm ready to roll. So we're going to just do, it wasn't really lecturing, just reminding. So we're going to do some cat-cow. Drop the belly down, look forward, lift the head, lift the crown toward the sky, and lift the booty, the tailbone toward the sky. Drop the heart. We're creating a U with the spine. Inhale that big, beautiful breath. Soften the face. And when you're ready to take the pause, start to move your body as you then begin the exhale, lifting the heart. And now we're creating the upside down U, the rainbow with the spine, where the hips come toward the shoulders, the chin drops, the heart goes up, the hands and feet press into the earth for the exhale, and you keep it going. So on your own pace, whatever kind of breath you're into, you can be really intense and go out your mouth if you want. Keep your mouth closed. With each one, you'll gain a little bit more flexibility, and it is very important to remember that a flexible spine is a flexible mind. And if you were only going to do one yoga pose per day, I would venture to say this one's really got a lot going for it. This one in downward dog. The only thing this one's not good for is if your wrists are not very happy. Now you can do cat-cow like this, and you can also do it seated in a chair, or just seated on the floor as well. So I want to invite you to start moving a little bit. So one of my favorite things to do in this is when I'm in the inhale is just to reach back with each of my hips there before I do the exhale, so that I really get an extra little bit of stretching there. And then with the exhale, sometimes I like to rock with it, or maybe I'm creating a circle with my hips, or with my rib cage, or with my head. It's just sort of like find now a way that you would like to wiggle worm within this. And if your wrists are all done and you're not wanting to do it anymore, you can go ahead and drop into child's pose, which is our next pose, invitation. Knees open, big toes kiss together. And hang out here however you would like. If you want to be really restorative, maybe just put your head on your arm or hand pillow. And if you'd rather have a little stretch involved, maybe drop the hands out in front. You could even decide to place your hands together and lift them up. Nice full breath here, noticing the back body. Fill your breath all the way into your body. And then breathe it out onto the floor like you're fogging up a mirror. and rotate the third eye onto the mat here, the ancestral portal. And maybe you want to say a little prayer here, a little mantra. May all that I need to know be revealed to me today. Or maybe it's just simply, I honor my ancestors, I honor myself. Right, and then if you'd like to take this a step farther, you can take an inhale, rise up just a little bit, walk your hands over to the left, and then drop in for a little stretch there. Stay here for a breath, fogging up that mirror. You could let something out with audible sound. Inhale, walk across to the other side and drop into it. Starting to feel pretty good. We're getting close. I hope you're feeling nice. Walking yourself back. I want to invite you to go ahead and sit on your booty. Get your legs out in front of you. Toes are up. This is another really nice, beautiful stretch for the body, the back and the back of the legs, the back body. This is also a little sciatic nod. It's called the life nerve stretch in Kundalini yoga. And it's very recommended before bed, especially if you have wiggly legs, if you get the wiggly leg syndrome in bed. So 3 layers to this one. Do them all, do 1, do 2, you choose. Skirt up, posture up, drawer closed. Let's lift the arms up in front. Remember that thing I said about the rib cage? Does your rib cage start to do that? It's okay. You might not have this flexibility. So then what happens is your rib cage kind of goes, ow, ow, ow. So just find where you are capable of being here. And then maybe with your next breath, just push it a little bit. See if you can get your arms up level with your ears. And keep your door closed. See if you can do that. It's okay if you can't today. We're just checking in, gaining mindfulness with everything we do. Every time we get together, you're gaining mindfulness, and so am I. Isn't that cool? So first thing I like to do here is just be here. Drop the hands and just be here. Feel that nice right angle, right? It's so pleasing. It's like boop, boop, boop. And then for, excuse me, for the next step, I am going to maintain this posture, maintain this uprightness in my spine, and I'm going to hinge forward, do the unicorn stretch. The horn goes up and out, not just closed, right? So I pull the belly into the spine. That's just sort of a little, I got you, right? Your back and your belly, best friends, always together all the time. And then with your exhale, just hinge forward, keeping that straightness in the spine. So that lights up pretty good with the toes up. It's like, woo! So if you want to just take a few breaths here, and what I like to do sometimes is with my exhale, just really pull that belly in, and just, it's like your belly pulled in lifts your body up and gives you a little bit more flexibility. You'll notice that you won't have as much flexibility if you were to let your belly just chill here, which is what we're going to do next. So if that sounds good to you, we're getting there. Let's go ahead and just drop into it. So now you can just round your back, let your feet relax, and if you can reach them, say hello to your feet. Yes. So one of the things that I really enjoy is making sure that I circle my joints. We did the hands and we did the arms, we did the shoulders. Let's circle you can put your legs however you like now. If you want to stay like that, if you want to go like this, let's just do elbow circles because we didn't add those in earlier when we were arming. New verb we just made up. So I'm just doing little elbow circles. It's just to it's to stimulate, that's the word, the synovial fluid production, which is sort of like your brake fluid in your body. You want to flop your arms like a bird here for a couple times. And now let's work with the neck, and then we'll go ahead and lie down and we'll do some circles in the lower limbs. Let's work with the neck. So we're going to just do, I would like to invite you with your neck to find a shape. It doesn't even have to be a circle. Maybe it is a circle, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a C. Maybe it feels good to do a drop and then move into the circle. Like the neck is very individualized territory. We are also very different in our necks, and it's also so many little muscles in there. It's crazy. So just move around. What I like to imagine is I'm drawing a circle with my nose, and I just slowly put it into different planes. It starts in this front plane, like, okay, my neck's feeling pretty good. And then it's like, oh, what if I get up into this plane? What happens? Ooh, there's some snap, crackle, pop going on. Cool. What if I get down into this plane? Ooh, really tight here. Right, so then what you could do is bring your hands in and start to hold your body, hold your neck as you move, right? So you could even be here or here. And the idea behind that is if one of your muscles is like, and it's really tight or really holding something stressful, which we do, so often we do this. If you hold the muscle, if you hug it, give it the assurance that you're here holding it, and it's welcome to relax and stretch and have a moment here. That is a beautiful communication with your muscle. That's a little massage therapy technique that I took, or a chiropractor actually taught me that. So just holding your muscles will give your muscles permission to let go if sometimes you're having trouble. And you can also bounce them. It's not so possible sitting up, but if you were laying down, I would kind of like just bounce your neck like that. So that could require a partner. Well, maybe we'll think of it when we lie down here in a moment. So let's go ahead and stretch the neck. Actually, let's go ahead and lie down. I have an idea about the neck, but I do want to talk to you about lying down. So one of the things about lying down and getting up is if we are mindful in it, and sometimes we're not, sometimes our mind is somewhere else, we can tweak our necks, and I'm sure you know this. So I like 2 ways to get down, and this is for any time I lay down in life or get up. One way, I think the gentler way is to drop into your side and then open, and then when you get up, it's back, and it's a curve and a roll each time with the neck, right? I'm dropping in and really not asking my neck to do the work. Now, if you are somebody who is laying down from here, it's just very important for your neck that you don't ask your neck to do it for you, because then it sort of looks like, oh, and your neck's going, whoa. So if you are lying down from here, it's really nice to drop your arms back, straighten the legs, and then I always say goodnight to your feet so that you are tucked. You're tucked with your neck, and you can then roll down one vertebra at a time. You can even reach back and hold your head. That to me is a really beautiful, kind and compassionate way to be laying down. So from here, let's be on the ground and let's look at this. So first of all, reach back and just cradle your head, your neck, about my thumbs sort of towards my going down towards my chin, and I'm just holding my head. Now you could go into that occipital ridge and do a little press a little acupressure point. You can feel it when it feels kind of like, yikes, that's it. And you could do a little bouncing in there, just gentle kind of nudging. And that's where you're trying to open space, and it's almost like it's like a sea anemone. Have you ever tried to touch one of those? They close. You can't dig in there. You have to, it's sort of a gentle nudge, and then once you're there, you can do a little bit of rocking to kind of move some stuck energy. Give yourself a little neck massage here. Don't get too diggy. It's really more about pressure points and holding and maybe a little bit of rocking, because sometimes digging feels good, but it's stimulating a pattern that you're in that could be like not a good one. Okay, we had a lot of massage talk today. It must have been something that we needed. So arms up, arms up, arms up. Inhale, inhale, inhale. When you exhale, open those shoulders up. And that wasn't really good English. Open those shoulders wide. How about that? And then drop the arms. So that's really wide. Pinkies down or palms up is a wide way to be with your shoulder blades, or with your shoulder girdle. So dropping the chin down so that your chin is very slightly below your forehead. This is how you communicate with the frontal lobe of your brain to relax. If your chin is up, the frontal lobe is a little more active. So if you have a loud head at night, or if you're a parent and your children are tossing and turning, like check their chin and just check that level there. That's helpful. Notice how they always do that in yoga class. And then when you're laying down, just to really take this farther, you can take your legs, let's take your right leg, lift it off the earth just a little bit, and then push it down and drop it so you're a little taller. So this is how you can be the most spread out laying on your back. Whee! Okay, so now from here, I just want to invite your head to go left and right. This was the thing I wanted to do for your neck. I discovered this in a class once, and we had gotten down into savasana and had forgotten to do the neck, and I said, oh, let's just move our necks, and realized that it felt really good here with the support of the earth, just going back and forth. So if that feels good to you, and something that you might consider, only if it feels right. So I'm facing the right. I'm going to take my left hand and just place it right on my left cheekbone, ear, temple, and just give a tiny bit of compression for it to go a little farther. And it sort of goes down and up a little bit. Just what feels good. It should feel really good, and not, if it feels like no, do not do it, right? Listen to your body. Most people really love this compression. It just feels a little weird at first. You're like pressing on someone's head. I spent about 25 years in massage therapy, so I do have a lot of techniques in my toolbox. So just if that compression feels good. And then coming back to the center, and we're going to rotate the ankles, and let's just do those both at the same time for fun. Let's go out and in. You could do your hands a little bit more if you wanted to. We already did the hands earlier. We can let's do some fingers. Oh, index, middle. Change the direction of the feet. This can be too much. But if it's not and you want to keep going with the fingers, I have to change. It's so funny. I have to change the finger direction too. I can't do opposing. Well, I can't say can't, but it felt difficult, pinky, to do opposing directions there. And don't forget about your thumb. Just point your toes and flex and point and flex. Great. Now let's take the right knee up. Let's actually take the right leg up and keep the toe flexed. Have this experience. Can you reach your leg? You could use a strap here if you had one, or a towel. This is a nice hamstring stretch if you want to keep your leg straight here. And the reason why is if you want to bend it, that's one thing that we're actually about to do. But keeping it straight here, what happens is you then access that insertion where that muscle connects, and it's really a deeper stretch. So that's nice. So that's where it comes in handy to have a towel that you could put here on your foot and But you can also just mildly do it. And then let's pull that knee in and hug that leg into the armpit. Just really hug it in. Get a little compression there. And then I'm just going to hold my thigh and rotate the foot around so that I'm circling the knee. Sometimes I do this standing, which is more of a balance test, so that's cool as well. Maybe we'll do it that way next week. Rotating, there's a little strength involved in this too. And I just did about 3 times on each side. 3 to 5 is nice. Now let's go ahead and rotate the hip joint by circling the leg. So I'm going up and out and around a small, if it feels like you would like to put some support on. Now remember that your drawer is closed up top and your belly's engaged here so that you have some help. Changing the direction, we're just giving the hip a little bit more stimulation for that synovial fluid production. And you're strong here in these circles. You don't want to flop your leg around. You want to stay strong in the other leg, stay strong in all of your belly muscles there. And then let's take that leg. Woo, that was intense. Drop it in. I've actually never done that in class before. I always stand up with that move, and let's do a little twist. And it actually is, it's nice laying down. It's a different experience. So now I'm just dropping into a little twist. You could look away from the twist or just look up. And you don't have to guide the hand on it. If it just wants to be a little milder, should feel nice. And if you wanted a more restorative twist that would last longer, you could have your cushion over here and you could just put the leg on it. And that can feel really nice. So mindfully coming back for transitioning to the other side. One more little hug, and I want to invite you to lift your head with mindfulness and kiss your knee and drop back down. Just a little bit of neck strength there. And drawing the other leg up mindfully. How about a little sigh of happiness? How about a little smile? We're stretching, we're taking good care. We love our bodies. Loving my leg here, saying thank you leg. Right, and if you can just take this stretch, remembering a straight knee. So if you can reach your leg, it can be nice to hold below and above. And if not, again, that's okay. Just be where you are, do your best. Deep breaths. Woo. Watch that chin too. You want to keep it below the forehead and then draw the knee into the body. Give a nice compression, a nice little moment here. I noticed earlier my head went up. That's one of those moments where when you're doing something that's more challenging or you don't quite have the flexibility, your body will tell you. And I was doing this, so boop, boop, lighten up, listen to the messages. Okay, and holding the thigh for stability here, I'm just going to rotate and give some circular action to the knee. And then take it the other direction. Boop, boop, doop, boop. So then I'm going to go ahead and twist, you twist and drop. So again, if you had a big pillow here, you could just be right on it there, and that's super chill. Or you can go all the way down if that feels good. Only if it feels good. These should not be uncomfortable, the twist. The twist is like a little nod to your organs. You're flushing fresh blood through the system, along with the beautiful release and stretch that you can gain here in the spine, in the lower spine. Lots of fun things happening. And then bringing that leg back, drawing it in for a sweet hug. Reach up and kiss. Ooh, and we have to do our circles. Hip circles. Hip circles, and make them comfy, use your muscles in your belly as stability, in your opposite leg as stability. But you don't need the muscles in your face, funnily enough, and they may be like trying to engage. All right, so letting go, reach down, put your skirt down. It's time to put the skirt down finally within the last few minutes here. And I'm rotating because it feels good. It feels good on my booty. It feels good on those muscles after all of that. And maybe you want to reach up like a first thing in the morning stretch and just... So I'm going to invite just a few minutes here of just sitting, of meditating, of resting. So we're here in that beautiful savasana that we just walked into before we started circling. All of the ways that you can be open in your shoulder, tucked, dropped in your chin, and long in your legs with the toes dropped out. So everything's just relaxed. And just soften your breath. And if you have a couch or a bed or a chair and it feels better to you, because sometimes it doesn't feel good to lay down on the low back, so you can put something under your knees to help that. But also I brought the chair out today because honestly one of my favorite things to do is just drop down and have my legs up. That feels nice. And you can also do this with a wall. You can just have your legs on the wall. You just don't want it to be right there. You want to have a little bit of drop, but it should feel comfortable. There shouldn't be any strain on your knees or then it's too far. So this is a beautiful way to just, if you're at work, just excuse me for a minute, just gonna lay down and pull out my feet up and just rest. Be here now. I'm going to guide you through these last few moments and invite you to stay right there. I want to be with you and I want to play the chimes for you. Be in that space of rest. We're just 3 minutes here. Sometimes at the end of something we get kind of antsy for the next thing. What am I going to go eat? What am I going to go put on or wear? Or, or who am I going to call? Whatever, right? But just be here now with yourself. Practice the loving kindness and compassion and tenderness for a moment. Slow down the breath. Let it be just whatever it would like to be right now. Let it be doing its thing in your body. And let yourself relax. And see if you can do a body scan. Check in with everything. We went through the entire body today. It felt really nice. And now we're just letting this all settle and land. Going through the top of your head. Relax those muscles behind your eyes and at the root of your tongue and in your cheeks and along the neck, in the front, back, and sides where it connects into your shoulders and along the tops of the shoulders and down into the arms, the biceps and elbows, forearms, and relaxing in the palms of your hand and the tips of your fingers, softening across the chest into the rib cage. Let each of those intercostal muscles feel soft. Love, compassion, gentle, nurturing energy. Relax your back. Let it melt into the earth. Let your booty melt. Soften the hips, the thighs, letting all the bones just separate in the legs, from all the muscles separate from the bones just a little bit. Everybody's just taking a moment. Soft, even all the way down into your toes and your feet. As you inhale, just imagine the earth rising up to meet you, greet you, scoop you up and hold you. The primordial mother holding you in her bosom. And as you exhale, surrender into that that being held sensation. Let yourself have that moment. Breathing softly. Allowing yourself to just be for these moments as we close the class and move on to the next thing. May we do so with ease, with grace, and with mindfulness. Honoring the body, honoring the spirit, the body-mind, the energy. Today and always, may you love yourself so fully and completely. Stay here as long as you like, basking in this glow, this love that you have for yourself, and maybe give yourself a hug to come up. Right? Remember the talk we had about how to get up with mindfulness. So before we go, I just want to invite, whether you're getting up or deciding to stay there a few more moments, that you find your fingers touching you somewhere, whether it's just touching your fingertips along with your thumb, or whether you decide to bring your hands onto the body, give yourself a hug, touch your belly, little smile. Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. And we just rub the hands together. Or if you want to do your fingers. And you can also do your feet. Bowing to the reverence, to the ritual, to the belly, the true brain of the body. Have a beautiful week out there, everyone. Namaste.